All right, we are live with the Combatcast, and we are ready to talk about some combat sports action. But before we do, let's talk about that sponsor.
Yes, we'd like to thank Game Up for their support of the podcast. They make a thirst-quenching adult beverage with a special blend of electrolytes. Comes in 4 great flavors: fruit punch, lemon, lime, and grape.
That's right, only 110 calories, 2 guys, low carb, so enjoy yourself some Game Up. And Chevy, let's talk about what we got coming up in the next few weeks.
All right, March 1st, UFC Fight Night, Kopp versus Almabayev. That's a 7 p.m. Apex card. And then March 8th, UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev, 10 p.m. T-Mobile Center. And then March 15th, UFC Fight Night, Vettori versus Dolidis 2 from the Apex. I don't know why we needed to see that one again, but I'll watch it again.
Yeah, why not? Why not? All right, let's get to this past weekend's UFC Fight Night and RoboCop Rodriguez versus Jared Kennier. Chevy, you went down for the count during these, unfortunately. So this will be just a quick recap. Let's get to this co-main event first. Cater versus, help me out with this guy's name, Youssef
Zalal.
Zalal, that's right, Youssef Zalal. Basically, Youssef Zalal was the better all-around, like, quicker fighter. He won the first 2 rounds, and then Cater, really to the urging of his corner, who's Faraz Zabi, George St. Pierre's old trainer. He's
TriStar, yeah.
Yeah, TriStar. He's with Cater now. He really urged him just to go for it. And Cater did really put it on that last round, enough to win that round, but unfortunately not enough to win the fight. So Youssef will continue to go up the rankings. He's putting some wins together, so good for him. I guess we'll see what's next for him.
Right, he should crack the top 10 now for the first time. And this is 7 wins in a row for him. So, and he had that streak years ago. He's been with the UFC for a long time. That streak years ago where he had, I think, 3 losses and a draw and managed to not get cut. So, and then to come back and rattle off 7 wins in a row, one against Calvin Kattar, is very impressive. So shout out.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how these guys have come up here and put these streaks together. I always says it says a lot about your mental toughness when you can go in those kind of losing streaks and then come back.
For
just
sure.
Want to remember something here because I want to give you your credit. Yep, that's what I thought. So, all right, main event: Kennier and Jared Kennier and Gregory Rodriguez, RoboCop. They're going at it. You called this one, man. All right, so RoboCop is coming out strong. Haymakers, rocks Jared Kennier. Jared does get a takedown at one point, but really can't do much with it. But then RoboCop starting to tire already, round 2, right? But he's dangerous. Jared Kennier definitely won round 2. Round 3, a little more competitive, back and forth. RoboCop coming back. He's explosive, still got it. But round 4, as the fight was going on, Rodriguez was getting tired. He kept letting those hands go down a little bit too much. And Jared Kennier might be 41, 42 years old here, but he's still in the game. He's still got that power. And bam, he knocked out Gregory Rodriguez. So good for him to get back in the winner's circle.
Yeah, the way I heard it, Rodriguez is just a little stiff too. And like I said last week, he puts so much power into all of his shots. So yeah, to tire out, we hadn't seen him go to that 4th or 5th round. Yeah, good on good vet move from Cannonier. Still, power's the last thing to leave, they say. Yeah. So he's definitely still got that. And I mean, at his athleticism, he still looks like he has all the athleticism. So
yeah,
at 42, he's just
and he knows how to weather the storm.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. So I don't know what you do next with him though. He mentioned he's lost to like all the guys above him.
Right.
We have seen him at light heavyweight and heavyweight, so maybe he could venture up to light heavyweight again. It's a pretty thin division up there, so
right.
Maybe just take a fight up there and see what's going on. And I don't know. I don't know how many more he's got left, but he's still a top tier guy. So
he could do other stuff too if he didn't want to be in the UFC. I'm sure he could make some money, But I think he wants to be a UFC fighter, so we'll see where he goes from here. Maybe light heavyweight would be the way to go at this point in his career.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about this week's fight night. Henry Cejudo and Song Yadong, bantamweight bout, UFC from Seattle.
9 p.m. Eastern from Seattle. Yep. Main card starts at 9 p.m.
Okay. And any fights you want to call out before we get to the main events?
Yeah, on the prelims, making his UFC debut, was just signed yesterday or the day before, signed on short notice, Austin Vanderford. We all know him as Paige Van Zant's husband.
Yes.
But he is a great fighter. He fought in Bellator, fought in LFA. I think he had a bare knuckle fight. I think we talked about maybe one bare knuckle fight. But he's fighting Nikolai Vertikinov, or something like that. So good luck to him. Anytime you get a short notice fight, it's tough. We did see him on the Contender Series, and he got a win, but he wasn't exciting enough with wrestling. He's added a lot of powerful striking into his game since then, so hopefully he can show out and do well. And then another fight to keep an eye out for on the prelims, Ricky Simon versus Javid Bashrat. That's a banger fight. I think I think Bashrat is the favorite in that, but Ricky Simon is a live dog for sure. And then on the undercard, Gene Silva, who's a Fighting Nerds guy. He's fought on short notice a few times as well. He's a very fun fighter. He's fighting Melsik Baghdasaryan. Yeah, it's a lot of tough names on this card, guys. And then obviously Rob Font staying on the card, but he's got a new opponent, Gene Matsumoto. So
that's a co-main event, isn't it? Or
no, that got moved to fight number 3. Brendan Allen and Anthony Hernandez is now the co-main event.
Well, good thing I took notes for all these fights.
Okay, all right, good.
So, I like that one too, so I actually took notes for that. I'll read some stuff off real quick. Gene Matsumoto?
Matsumoto. Yep.
Yeah, Matsumoto. 16-0. 2-0 in the UFC, 3 KOs, 6 subs, 7 decisions. Rob Font, 21-8, 9 KOs, 4 subs, 8 decisions. Been a top bantamweight for a while. Coming off a big victory here, back in the winner's circle. He's you think he's too much for at this point?
I don't know. I haven't actually seen Matsumoto fight, so I don't know who his wins are against. Records are important, but strength of schedule records is very important. So Rob Font is a very tough guy. He's probably tougher than any guy that Gene's ever
without even knowing everything.
Exactly.
I would just put my money on Font right now, just based off of strength of schedule. But great opportunity for Matsumoto there. Yeah. All right, let's get to this co-main event then.
All right, Brendan Allen versus Anthony Fluffy Hernandez.
Anthony Fluffy Hernandez, 13-2-1, 3 KOs, 8 subs, 2 decisions. He's won 6 in a row. 5 of those last 6 were finishes. He's a 3-time Performance of the Night award winner. He's had most significant ground strikes landed in a UFC middleweight bout before.
Oh, really?
Too. Yeah, against Michelle Piera. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I forgot about that fight. Yeah, that's a fun fight.
Brendan Allen, 24-6, 5 KOs, 14 subs, 5 decisions. He's won 7 out of his last 8 until he ran into Nazardine Imavov, who's been beating up everybody. So no shame in that. Performance of the Night 3 times. Second most submissions in UFC middleweight division history. So
a lot of rear naked chokes.
Yeah, this is a fun fight. This could go either way. I like Brendan Allen. You kind of sold me on him. I think he has a few more tools. I'll say he pulls off a decision, though, because this is going to be a good back and forth.
Yeah, obviously, I've been chatting up Brendan Allen as like the dark horse of the division for a while. I'm a big fan of him. I'm not sure I see him getting a finish over Fluffy. I think momentum-wise, I think Fluffy's got the advantage, obviously. I like both guys. My heart says Allen. My brain's saying Fluffy on this one. So I'm going to pick Hernandez. I think he ends up getting a sub in round 3. But it's very closely matched, I think. So.
All right. Well, we'll see. I think we're going to disagree a few times this week. All right, let's get to the main event.
All right. Henry Cejudo versus Song Yadong. I went back and forth on this one.
Okay. 21-8, Song Yadong. 21-8-1, 9 KOs, 3 subs, 9 decisions. Performance of the night 5 times, fight of the night 1 time. Cejudo, 16-4, 8 KOs, 8 decisions. He's a former bantamweight champion. He's a former flyweight champion. He's had fight of the night. He's had performance of the night 3 times. Guy was an Olympic gold medal wrestler. He's basically done it all. He's a legend. The big thing to me is he's coming off 2 losses after being out for a while, although look competitive in that. If Cejudo had been consistently fighting, I would say he's going to win this handedly just based off his wrestling. The fact that he hasn't fought in a while, look, he's one of the all-time greats. He'll probably find a way to win. But my money, for whatever reason, I feel like it's Song Yadong. I feel like he's going to get out of those rounds. He's going to find a way to get past the wrestling. I say he's going to use some of that power, and I think he's going to find a way to do what a lot of people, I'm trying to think. Like, I think he's going to TKO Cejudo. So I think he'll find a way. Round 3. That's my guess.
Okay, yeah. Henry has certainly been less active, but he obviously has the better resume. Wins over Sergio Pettis, DJ, which I didn't think he won that, but you win over DJ, win over TJ, win over Dominic Cruz. But like you said, been a tough go the last 2 outings. He's only fought once a year, and those after that long layoff he had, and both times were losses. He's 38 now. It's a lighter weight class. So Song is explosive, and he's been learning wrestling, like taking to wrestling very well. So I think the smart money is on Song. And at this point, I don't know. Cejudo's always been an outlier, though, so it's very hard to just count him out with stats and everything. But I think I'm gonna pick Song by decision. I think Henry's still gonna be tough enough to stay in there. I think he'll always kind of be able to stay in there. That's possibly he's gonna get to be one of those people that hangs around a little too long.
I was looking at his record because I was curious, because I was going to say I don't know if he's ever been finished. He was finished once. It was first time he lost in the UFC to Mighty Mouse. It was TKO, knees to the body.
Yeah, that was brutal. We watched that one at our old stopping grounds, Arugas, because
he wasn't ready for that at that time. Yeah, that was a different level of what he was.
That was like fight number 7 or something in his career too.
Yeah, he became a better fighter after that. I would
Much
say.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but all right. So good little fun group of fights here this weekend on this week's Fight Night. I think this should be fun. Before we get out of here, let's tell me what we got coming up one more time.
Yep. March 1st, UFC Fight Night, Kopp versus Almabayev. That's a 7 p.m. Apex card. March 8th, UFC 313, Pineda versus Ankalaev. Light heavyweight belt, 10 p.m. T-Mobile Arena. And then March 15th, UFC Fight Night, Vittori versus Dolides 2. That's an Apex card.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Tune in this Saturday for Cejudo versus Song Yadong, UFC Fight Night Seattle. And enjoy some Game Up.
If you haven't tried Game Up, then you are missing out. Imagine your favorite seltzer and your favorite sports drink had a baby, but it's way better than that. Each can is 110 calories, low carb, 4.9 ABV. It's a nice light drink that is not light on flavor. Game Up comes in fruit punch, orange, lemon, lime, and grape. Pick it up